At this factory, a worker unlatches the side rail of a flatbed truck, unaware that the heavy metal load inside has shifted during transport. A truck's drop side rail functions as a gate, not as a load-bearing barrier. It's never meant to contain a shifting or leaning cargo. When materials move during transit, the latch becomes the weakest part of the setup and can release unexpectedly when opened. A load must always be secured with proper straps and support materials before the gate is closed. Always assume the cargo may have shifted and stay clear of the path of movement when unlatching any drop side. At this worksite, a worker bends over a large wire roll, unaware that a front loader is reversing behind him. The rear area of a front loader has a natural blind spot, and the operator cannot see anyone standing close behind the machine. Operators must always confirm their path is clear before moving. Pedestrians must never assume they are visible to equipment operators. The best protection in a no-clearance area is to avoid entering it entirely. Always establish eye contact and communication with the operator before stepping into their work zone. In this auto shop, a mechanic begins lowering an SUV on a hydraulic lift. As the lift moves, the vehicle becomes unsteady, and his attempt to steady it by hand fails as the balance shifts. Vehicle stability on a lift is most vulnerable during raising and lowering. If the lift arms aren't positioned exactly at the manufacturer's recommended points, the balance can change as the lift geometry moves. Never try to use your body to stop or steady a leaning vehicle. Once balance is affected, it cannot be safely controlled by hand. Prevention starts before the vehicle leaves the ground. Always triple-check the lift points and confirm that the support arms are locked. If a vehicle begins to lean, step away immediately. Never stand underneath or beside a shifting load. At this construction site, a mobile crane attempts to lift a large silo. The crane is overloaded and operating on soft, unstable ground, which places its balance at risk. Never exceed a mobile crane's rated capacity or operate on ground that isn't verified stable. A crane's balance relies on the correct relationship between its counterweight, lifting capacity, and ground conditions. Exceeding the lift chart, especially during a tandem lift, can move the center of gravity outside the safe operating zone. A successful lift is determined long before the crane starts moving. Proper planning and confirmed ground stability are essential. The area around the crane, often twice the boom's length, must always be treated as a restricted area. In this industrial bay, a front loader operator drives forward, unaware that a coworker is standing in the machine's path near the wall. The areas directly in front of and beside a front loader contain significant blind spots, especially for pedestrians at ground level. The machine's frame and lifting arms block the operator's vision, creating high-risk zones where pedestrians may not be seen. Operators must confirm the path ahead is clear before moving forward. Pedestrians should never assume they're visible and must avoid standing in active equipment zones. Always establish clear eye contact with the operator before entering the area. Good communication prevents unsafe moments. In a busy convenience store, a worker stands high on an extension ladder, depending entirely on his spotter for stability. The spotter soon stepped away, leaving the ladder unsupported. This was the wrong ladder for the task. A self-supporting A-frame ladder would have provided a stable, independent footing. Using a straight extension ladder on a smooth tile floor depends completely on the spotter's constant attention. A brief moment without support creates a risk of losing balance. As a ladder spotter, never walk away from your position. You provide essential stability, not optional help. Stepping away, even for a moment, removes that support and increases the chance of a fall. In this warehouse aisle, an operator lifts a large, top-heavy load using a manual stacker. Coworkers nearby are unaware that the center of gravity of the load is unstable. Top-heavy loads on manual stackers can become unbalanced easily. Even small movements or tilts can affect the load's center of gravity. The area beneath any raised load, called the fall shadow, must always stay clear. Load stability must be verified before lifting. The space under a suspended load is never safe for standing or sitting. In this situation, both an unstable load and low situational awareness contributed to a preventable incident. At this worksite, a forklift is overloaded and a worker is being used as additional weight to stabilize it. When the forklift tips forward, another worker nearby instinctively reaches toward the machine as it moves back. A forklift must never be overloaded or stabilized using a person. Its balance is based on strict weight limits. Exceeding those limits creates instability. When a forklift shifts, the movement can happen quickly and cannot be controlled safely by hand. Never attempt to steady or support heavy machinery manually. The correct action when a machine becomes unstable is to step back immediately. This hazard was the result of avoidable choices, overloading, improper use of personnel, and lack of awareness, all of which proper training is designed to prevent. At this construction site, a worker sits near a crane while a heavy bucket is being lifted. He's not directly under the load, but he is within the swing path, the area where the load could move if the cable or connection point fails. Never stay inside a crane's operating zone. If a cable or connection point fails, the suspended load can swing outward. The entire radius of the crane's reach should always be treated as a restricted zone, not just the area directly below the load. A crane incident affects everything within its swing radius. Always treat the entire operating circle as a no-go area and maintain distance from any suspended load. At this tire shop, a worker crouches beside a heavy-duty truck wheel, unaware that the tire has internal structural issues and is under elevated internal pressure. Never position yourself directly in front of or beside a high-pressure truck tire, even when it's not being inflated. A damaged tire or corroded rim can fail without warning, releasing air and fragments with force. A truck tire contains significant internal pressure and must be approached cautiously. Always examine the tire and rim assembly from a safe angle before coming close, and avoid placing yourself directly in line with a potential release point. At this machine shop, a worker enters the interior space of a large CNC machine to make an adjustment, unaware that the system is still active and about to begin an automatic cycle. Never enter the operating area of an automated machine unless it has been fully de-energized and locked out. Machines operate according to programmed instructions and do not detect human presence. A single automatic cycle can start without a visible warning. The machine's off button alone is not enough. Full lockout, tagout procedures are the only reliable protection. Interlocks and barriers are in place to prevent contact with active machinery. Always confirm full isolation before entering any automated system. To keep learning from these important workplace safety lessons, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Stay aware, stay safe.